All right, let's talk about one of the biggest game changers for any business, Facebook ads. If you've ever felt like it's just too complicated, stick around. We're going to give you a full roadmap in the next 5 minutes, turning all that confusion into pure confidence. Let's dive in.
So, let me just ask you a simple question. Are you trying to find new customers? Of course you are. Whether you're selling a product, offering a service, or just sharing an idea, growth is the name of the game, and that always means reaching new people.
But, and let's be real here, the second you open up the Facebook Ads Manager, it feels like you've walked into this crazy, complicated maze. There are buttons and weird terms everywhere. It is so easy to just feel totally lost.
But we are going to clear all of that up right now. Here's our game plan. We're going to start with a professional setup. Then, understand what I call the campaign family tree. After that, we'll figure out who your perfect customer is, build an ad that actually works, and then finally measure your success. Let's get started.
First things first, the professional start. You wouldn't build a house on a shaky foundation, right? The same exact principle applies here. Get this wrong, and everything else you do is just going to crumble.
Now this is a huge one, and so many people get it wrong. Running ads from your personal profile? It's not just unprofessional, it's really insecure. You risk getting your whole account shut down. The only right way to do it is with the Facebook Business Manager. It's a secure, central hub for all your stuff, your pages, your ad accounts, even your team. It's the pro standard for a very good reason.
All right, foundation set. Now for the part that trips almost everyone up, the actual structure of every single ad you will ever run. But don't worry, we're going to make this super simple.
Honestly, if you remember just one thing from this whole thing, let it be this idea. Every campaign is like a family tree, a grandfather, his children, and then their children. If you can picture that, you'll never be confused about structure again.
So here's how that family tree actually works in practice. At the very top, you have the campaign level. That's the grandfather. He sets the one main goal for everybody, like get more sales or find new leads. Simple. Under him, you've got the ad sets. Think of them as the parents. You can have a few different ad sets, each targeting a totally different audience with its own budget. And finally, each ad set has the ads, the children. These are the different creatives, the actual images, videos, and text that you show to that specific audience. See? This structure gives you total control, but it's really logical.
So you've got the perfect structure, but what's the point if you're talking to the wrong people? That brings us to part 3, finding your ideal customer. Because trust me, a brilliant ad shown to someone who couldn't care less is just a very expensive way to make noise.
Before you spend even 1 cent, you have to create what's called a buyer persona. It sounds fancy, but all it is a fictional picture of your perfect customer. And I mean really get detailed here. Who are they? What do they love? What are their biggest problems? The clearer this picture is in your head, the better your ads will perform. Once you know your persona, you bring them to life with Facebook's incredible targeting tools. This is where you go from a vague idea to a real, specific audience. And you can layer these things together. For example, you could target people from 30 to 40 years old who live in a certain city, who are interested in sports, and who also tend to shop online. This is how you make sure your message lands with the exact people most likely to actually care about it.
Okay, so we've got the structure and we know exactly who we're talking to. Now for the fun part, making an ad that actually stops people from scrolling and makes them pay attention.
Any great ad you've ever seen really just has 3 key parts. First is the primary text. That's the main copy you see above the image. Then you have the creative. This is the star of the show, your image or your video. And finally, the headline, that bold bit of text right below the creative that's designed to grab attention and get a click. All 3 have to work together perfectly.
And now for the final, and you could argue, the most important step of all. Part 5. How do you measure success? How do you actually know if any of this is even working?
Because really, if you're spending money, you have to be able to answer this one simple question. How do you know that your money is being well spent and actually getting you a return? The answer is the Facebook Pixel. Now, I know that sounds really technical and intimidating, but it's not. It's just a tiny piece of code you put on your website. Think of it like a little bridge that connects what people do on your site back to the ads they saw on Facebook. And this little piece of code has 3 amazing superpowers. First, it tracks conversions, so you know exactly which ads are making you money. Second, it lets you build audiences of people who've already visited your site, so you can show them ads again. And third, it feeds all this data back to Facebook, basically teaching the algorithm how to find more people just like your best customers. It's an incredibly powerful feedback loop.
So, there you have it. We've gone from a confusing maze to a clear 5-step plan. A pro setup, the family tree structure, laser-focused targeting, great creative, and finally, smart measurement. You officially have the roadmap. So the only question left is, are you ready to turn all that data into action?